Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and those who made it here in person, glad you made it here safely. Had a severe weather event. So again, hopefully those who are watching live stream are safe and unharmed. Thank you for joining us tonight for our January 12th, 2023 meeting, first meeting of the new year, and look forward to working with you all throughout the year on making our town a better place, and appreciate what you all did last year, and hopefully you had a wonderful holiday season as well. With that, we will follow along our agenda, and we will start with an invocation by Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Hinkle, which will be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. We ask that those of you who are in attendance please stand as we recite our pledge. Mr. Hinkle.
Please let's pray. Lord, we ask for your countenance upon this meeting this evening. We ask that you be with the council and guide and direct us, and always say and do that it be pleasing in thy sight. We thank you for bringing us through this brief, but unfortunately, severe storm. We understand other communities have suffered worse, and we ask that you be with those people that have been affected by it. We thank you for bringing us safely through it. We ask that you lead us in peace and goodwill in this year of 2023 that's just beginning. We thank you for 2022, and I ask that you guide and direct us, and that we are people of faith, and that we come to you in a reverent and blessed way, and thank you for your many blessings upon us. And all these things that we ask for, and those that we perhaps have forgotten to ask for, that you see that we need, we ask that you bestow upon us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. Thank you all for your participation. At this time, we've got our agenda in front of us. Council, I will ask if there are any adjustments to tonight's agenda. Staff?
Just Roman numeral 5, the Shin annexations. Mr. Mayor, they have asked for a continuance. It's up to you all if you wish to make that adjustment now or wait till we get to Roman numeral 5, numbers 10 and 11 to discuss it at that time.
Okay, thank you. Council, will ask, as we did Monday night, that 10 and 11 be deferred until February. Is there an agreement to move that to February?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor, that we defer that to our February 2023 council meeting.
There's a motion to defer 10 and 11 till our February meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. With that adjustment, can I get a motion to approve our agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. We will follow along our agenda as adopted. Next item is our consent agenda. We've got several items on the consent, several minutes as presented. We've got the approval of the Parks and Rec 2023 event schedule, a number of things that have been added there. We've also got approval of some budget amendments as we discussed on Monday, and also a contract agreement between the town of Troutman and that book. Those are consent items. They will be approved with one vote unless there is an item that council would like to remove. Is there a motion to approve our consent?
I'll make that motion to approve our consent agenda.
Motion is made to approve our consent agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is our recognitions and presentations. The first item is the presentation of the Town of Troutman 2021-2022 budget year audit. I will turn it over to Mr. Wyatt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Thompson handed out the booklets to all of you all, also to the clerk. I'll turn it over to Justin if he'd like to have anything else before we introduce Mr. Thompson.
I'd just like to say thank you, Mr. Thompson, for coming tonight to present, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, good evening. You should have in front of you the audit report and a presentation summary, a smaller report. And if you'd be kind enough to flip to page 1 of that, we'll be off and running. The main thing you do hire us as an independent audit firm to do is issue an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. We issued an unmodified report, which is the highest level of reporting, which is a quote-unquote clean report. So that's good. The numbers will also look good. And on page 1, I'm going to read a few headlines here to make sure we're all in, I do what I'm supposed to. No significant audit findings on page 1. On the top of page 2, no difficulties encountered in performing the audit. No uncorrected misstatements, no disagreements with management. Management did provide us a representation letter dated December 9th. We're unaware that management consulted any outside accountants, auditors, etc. There are a couple small items that I'll get to at the very last page. And I will say this too. I think in June 30, 21 was the first year that the LGC stopped sending out what they call unit letters. If you've been on the board a while, you might have gotten a unit letter somewhere in the past. The LGC put out some prefab spreadsheets, etc., that if anything they wanted to address that they asked us to complete, and then on their website, and then once we do that, we have to include it in our presentation. If there's anything there, then they ask you to respond back to that within 60 days of the report, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. On page 4, if you'd be kind enough to flip there. So in the left-hand column here, I'm not saying these are all the key numbers in the audit report, but traditionally these are some numbers that the council wants to address then in some of the presentations we've done over time. So what we attempt to do here is put those numbers on your left side, and then to add context to that, put the 4 prior years audit reports beside it so you can get a feel for trend information, and it's not just a number hanging out there in space with no context. You can see the top number there, total fund balance in general fund, $4,853,000. If you were to go back to 2018, you can see that number is $1,748,000. Unavailable fund balance is $461,000, restricted and assigned at $112,000. Total general fund expenditures is $5.5 million, and total fund balance as a percentage of general fund expenditures is 88.17. Available fund balance is $4.2 million, and then available fund balance as a percentage is 77.73%. Revenues over and under expenses before transfers is a negative 118. Capital projects is a negative 35,807, and water sewer is a positive 748,000. You can see total fixed assets, accumulated depreciation, and cash in your water sewer fund there. We do talk about net position and other things in the water sewer fund. The main thing, though, in a business type activity fund that you want to address is cash flow, and you can see the cash went from $1,764,000 in 21 to $2.4 million, and you can go all the way back to 18 where it's $665,000. And so that's the main issue in any business type activity, because you're not trying to build up on quote-unquote net position. You just want to make sure you're charging a fair price so that you can cash flow it and it can operate independently. You see cash and fund balance there. Total cash in general fund is $5,085,000. Capital projects $176,000. And water sewer is $2.4 million. Fund balance again is $4.8 million in the general fund. Capital projects is $165,000, and fund balance in your water sewer fund is $16,095,000. You see your property tax rates there, consisted across the 5 years shown, and then the collection percentages for the 5 years, and the collection percentage including motor vehicles. And the motor vehicles has got where, because of what DMV is doing, there's not the big difference there that there once was. You see your total property valuations and levy amounts there, and then the breakdown by department of your general fund revenues, with total being $5,899,000, and a breakdown of your general fund expenditures by department with a total of $6,017,000. You can see there's a little bit of bump up there, and there were some capital projects and some other things going on that caused the general fund expenditures to bump up. If you were to go up to the top, both the percentages in the top there are affected significantly by any uptick in the total expenditures, because that's the denominator in the calculation. So when you have an increase, as you're growing, you can see you're going from $3,283,000 up to $6 million. It causes that percentage to drop a little bit. On page 5, you see a nice chart there of your total fund balance in blue. The restricted is in red. On the bottom of that page, you see your total fund balance as a percentage in blue, the group weighted average in red. I will say this, on the group weighted average going forward, it's going to have very little use for most folks, and the reason of that is the LGC made a decision. They're going to use group weighted average as everything above 100 million and everything below 100 million, so your group is so large that the comparability just doesn't have a whole lot of value going forward. On page 6, you can see available fund balance as a percentage at 77.73, and it's a nice little trend line there going from 46.4 back in 18. And on the bottom, you see revenues over and under expenses before transfers, and you can see the water fund, nice. General fund had a small dip this time. Capital projects can go up and down depending on the stage of the project and the funding timing of that particular project. On page 7, you see your total fixed assets, accumulated depreciation, and cash there. On the bottom, you see your cash balances and fund balances by fund, with underneath there the totals, with cash balances being $7,681,000 and total fund balances being $21,115,000. On page 8, you see your property tax rates and your group weighted average, and on the bottom you see collection percentages with both group weighted average and statewide average in there. And it looks like it's jumping around there, but you got to realize it's all jumping around within a 2% range there, so not jumping around near as much as it might appear in the chart. And then on page 9, you see a breakdown of your general fund revenue and a pie chart by percentages. And you can see the ad valorem taxes make up about 58.85% of your revenue in the general fund, and public safety and general government, along with capital outlay on the bottom, make up most of your general fund expenditures. The item I mentioned earlier, there was 3. We made some prior period adjustments for some capital projects that didn't get recorded. There was some debt that had to be swapped back and forth between some funds to get those in the correct fund from prior years. There was a small budget violation because of some accruals on salary that caused them to exceed the budget. And then the third one is the audit report needs to be in by December 1st. Those are the 3 items. The main thing I'd love to leave you with, you got an unmodified report. The numbers look good from a general fund balance and the water sewer. And then with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you got of me. Not just tonight. You take it home, you read through it. You're always welcome to give me a call. If I happen not to be in the office, just ask them to give you my cell number. I'll get you an answer to whatever your question might be.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any questions for Mr. Thompson on our audit?
So one of the weaknesses you listed was and the first one was some of the funds had to be moved back around. But that was from prior years, right?
That's right, yes, sir. That's what the weakness would be, the prior period adjustment.
Okay.
Would you consider these, and I'm not gonna say unimportant, obviously all of them important, but minor?
Cleanup issues is what I
Cleanup
would call them,
issues.
yes, sir. It's not, finance department does a good job. Some of these probably would traditionally might have been caught by the auditor, so finance is doing a good job. I wouldn't, if I was in your spot, I wouldn't be worried about it.
Other questions for Mr. Thompson? First of all, thank you. We've waited a long time for an audit, given our last experience with the firm. And so again, we appreciate you all in what you've done to try to go back a ways and then help us going forward. So again, we appreciate that, and you're working with the staff and the team to get this out. So again, look forward to future clean audits as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you get us, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to say, appreciate Justin and Ron for working through these last 18 months on these audits and trying to get this out, and all the prior work that was done just to get us back to this point. So again, appreciate all that and all the detail to make sure that happens. So again, thank you for that. All right, the next item on our agenda is the recognition of the Rotary Club of Troutman for sponsorship. I'll turn it over to Mr. Wyatt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to also, somebody make sure Emily has a microphone down there. As we have discussed before, when the town decided in the neighborhood of 16 years ago in earnest to try to attempt to go with a park in our community, one of the main partners that have existed from the beginning, once the plan was developed 13 years ago, I believe is correct. And the Rotary Club of Troutman has been very instrumental with various things, whether it be fit trail installation, whether it be nature trail. They have constantly come back and asked, almost annually, I would say, to see what they can do as a club being in our community, to what they can do to benefit the town and others. And last year, Emily and I discussed, as part of our expansion, we opened the ball fields early. Due to COVID, the school fields could not and were not being used. And we opened it early. And on one hand, that was a blessing. The kids got some place to go and play and practice. On the other hand, we were behind. And as we have discussed with you all before and for public consumption, it's almost a situation where the cart got before the horse on several things within our park. But if it were not for the invaluable care and concern of Troutman, of the Rotary Club of Troutman, to help us, we would not be where we are today. While we've got a lot of things to go, we certainly appreciate this one. I'll turn it over to Emily to speak specifically about the scoreboard, and it's already here, even though not installed, but we just got Duke Power to install electric lines this week, so it was not a staff issue, and the Rotary Club certainly wrote their first check even earlier, I think, than anticipated, so that we could get the sign here, but we look forward to it being installed. Emily?
I think you've covered it. We're working with some sign companies now to get quotes for installation pricing, so within the next 2 months, I'd say we'd be ready to move forward for installation, but just your contributions since in my 7 years here, your contributions, whether they've been time or working together on projects or volunteerism or financial, they are appreciated. So thank you, and just want to grab a picture with you guys if you don't mind, and leave.
Before they take their photo, I know I see Mr. Smith here, who's president of the Rotary Club. I had an opportunity to mention to him to make sure he was here tonight. Mr. Todd, who's always part of a number of different projects within the town. Again, appreciate him being here, but we've got a certificate of recognition that I'd like to make sure that they also receive, and I'll read it briefly. Town of Troutman Certificate of Recognition. In recognition and appreciation, Mayor Young, Town Council, town citizens hereby recognize Rotary Club of Troutman for investing your support and resources to the town of Troutman ESC Park located here at North Avenue. Signed this day, January 12th, 2023. So again, if you'd come up and let me present this to you and take a nice photo, and any comments you'd like to make, you're welcome to do so as well.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, and the council will stand behind as well.
Councilman, stand up.
Get P. Ross's head in there. There we go. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Council.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
we
you.
appreciate the opportunity to work with the council and the town, and hopefully continue to do good things, so.
Scoreboards are definitely needed.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
The next item on our agenda is our ABC Store Quarterly Report. I see Mr. Getzinger sent the heavy hitter tonight. I hope that he is doing well. Our general manager, Ms. Walls, is here to give us a report, so I'll turn it over to her.
Good evening, Mayor Young, distinguished council members, town staff, and fellow citizens. On behalf of the Troutman ABC Board, Chairman Leighton Getzinger, Wes Edmondson, and Kim Cavan, I thank you for the opportunity to update you on the ABC Store's performance for the end of the second quarter of fiscal year 2022-2023. For the second quarter sales, we experienced a slight increase of 3.4% over last year's second quarter. We had sales of $930,774 broken down as follows. In October, we done $243,087, which was down 7.7% over last October. November, we did $275,072, which was up 3.5% over last November. And in December, we done $412,615, which was up 10% over last December. The first month of the new quarter reflected a continued slowdown in business. Otherwise, the second quarter is our busiest time of the year. We saw a normal uptick heading into Thanksgiving and Christmas. The distributions for the second quarter are as follows. Town of Troutman and its recipients will receive $26,351. Law enforcement, $5,015. And alcohol and drug education, $7,021. The second quarter net profit was $88,268, and last year that was $81,516, so we saw an increase of $6,752, which is 5%. Our budgeted revenue for 2022-2023 is $2,800,000. Revenues for the second quarter, coupled with the first quarter sales, puts us at $1,684,511, which is 60% of our budgeted. Our current retained working capital is $589,368, which is our max. We're at 100%. So now we're putting money into the special capital reserve for the building of the second store. We have $19,013 in that against the $500,000 which we are allowed. Since opening, we experienced sales of $12,811,920 in net sales. From the time we opened in December of 2016, the town and its entities will have received $289,000, alcohol, education, and rehab, $65,584, law enforcement, $46,846, for a total of $401,430. We're at full staffing at the moment, and we have nothing new to report on the second store as of now. We have a couple of administrative issues to work through, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Walls. Any questions for Ms. Walls?
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you know, you had the 1/4, 60% of your budget, so it sounds like plans coming together all right.
Yeah, except for October, we was down like 7.7, but you know,
Right.
with inflation and everything, everybody's just tightening up a little bit, I guess.
That's gotta be one of the only months that's been down
Yes, it has been so
since
far.
opening.
Yeah.
Made up for it in December though.
Yes, that is true.
What'd you say, Flynn? I'm
I said
sorry.
it made up for it in December.
I will just add that it's still not supposed to be profitable yet, so all of that is
That's
great
right,
news,
yeah.
according to the so-called experts back in 2016.
I'm sure I'm glad the experts were wrong.
We can
Yeah.
bring them back.
Sure.
Well, what I would say is, Ms. Walls, thank you and the team for your continued excellent performance at the ABC store. And as it sounds like normally you would have had a question about the new ABC store, but it sounds like you were coached well by Mr. Gettleman. So good job on
Leighton
that.
wanted to be here, but he's
Yeah.
facing 6 weeks of radiation and then chemotherapy after that.
Great. Our thoughts and prayers are
And
with
he
him.
needs to stay inside as
Yeah.
much as he can.
Absolutely. Good. Well, thank you all again so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before she steps away, I will add just some verbal conversations this week. We anticipate the release of the ETJ area for the second site to come soon.
Great. Thank you.
Great news.
All right, that takes us to new business. First item under new business is a annexation request. AX 2213, applicant Mountain State Investments LLC, 2 ± acres, PIN 474-087-7479, 138 Houston Road. This is a public hearing. I will now open the public hearing and turn it over to Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you stated, this is a request for annexation. The parcel in consideration is 2 acres. They are requesting that we bring this property into the town limits. The owners of the property are Mountain State Investments, and it's located at 138 Houston Road. The property in the county is currently zoned general business. And as I stated, there is a zoning request. Well, this is the zone. There is a zoning request as part of this annexation. The property that we're considering tonight is highlighted in red. You can see it's there on Houston Road. It lies between 77 and Main Street or Highway 21. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them, but that is the end of staff's presentation.
Thank you.
This is, it shows it's in trees here, but this is the one that has a concrete pad on it.
Yes, that is
Am I right?
correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to speak on this annexation request?
I just want to say my wife and I are here. We're the owners of Mountain State Investments. So if we have any questions from staff or the board, we're here for you.
Great, thank you. Um, With that, then I will close this public hearing. At this time, I will ask council to consider approval of ordinance 0123, titled an ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Troutman, North Carolina, non-contiguous. Is there a motion regarding the approval of this ordinance?
I'd like to have a motion, sir.
Motion's on the floor to approve the ordinance 0123. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is made, received a second. Any question or comment? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is is a rezoning request, RZ 2207. Applicant is Mountain State Investments LLC, 2 acres, 2 plus or minus acres. PIN is referenced before in the annexation request, and in your agenda, it's 138 Houston Road. The request is from Ardell County General Business to Town of Troutman Light Industrial. At this time, I will open this public hearing. Turn it over to Ms. Hare.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is the rezoning portion of the annexation that we just heard. Property again is at 138 Houston Road, and as the mayor stated, the property is currently zoned general business. The applicant would like you all to consider annexing this property to light industrial. The purpose is to bring it into the town limits and to be developed for an LI use. I do want to point out that this is not a conditional zoning request, so there's no site plan that's been submitted, and we cannot request or suggest conditions on this. It's just a traditional rezoning. Again, here's the property highlighted in red. The current zoning map, you can see the property there in yellow, which is general business. On either side of this property is property that's in the town of Troutman that's zoned for heavy business, or heavy industrial. In the orange there, it's heavy or highway business. So there are industrial and business uses and zonings in the area already. The land use map does show this property as interchange commercial or highway commercial. That's a district that, as you can see, the property is surrounded by other properties with similar land use. You also have a great deal of heavy industrial land use in this area there in gray. Again, the property is 2 acres. It is currently undeveloped, but as Mr. Harris pointed out, there's a metal building that was permitted through the county that's currently under construction on the site. Just to let you all know, we did ask for and receive a copy of the site plan that was submitted to the county on this building, just to ensure that it did meet all of our town requirements, and it does. There's no issues with it. It met the setbacks, it met landscaping, so we are fine with what's being built there. The only outstanding issue is we do have a design review board. I've spoken with the applicant to let them know that once this is annexed and rezoned, that they will have to take that building before the DRB. So we will be handling that once the annexation and rezoning are complete. Just to let you see what the definition of our strategic plan, what interchange commercial is. It is typically located, these properties are near the freeway interchanges, which this one is very near exit 42. This category does not compete with downtown retail, but it is properties that you're going to typically see larger retail developments or industrial developments, such as larger chains. Typically, these properties are near general commercial as well as industrial uses or existing industrial uses. The planning board did review this at their last meeting, and they unanimously recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval based on 2 things: that the proposal is compatible with our strategic plan, and that the UDO contains additional safeguards that will ensure the quality of this development. As I mentioned, it will have to go to the DRB. That's a UDO requirement, and staff will make sure that those things are met. So that is the end of staff's presentation. The applicant is here as well if you have any questions for them, or I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Hare. Any question for Ms. Hare? The applicant is here. Would you like to speak or entertain any questions?
I'm ready for questions.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? I'll save him from getting on the hot seat. Any comment from the public regarding this request? All right, hearing none, I will,
I would like that. Lynn, again, I was studying several things when you were doing some talking there, but you did say, you know, for, it's, right now, we'll, according to the future land use plan, that is for interchange commercial, and that would include the LI and HI classification.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
if there's no other comment, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from staff regarding this request. We will now consider the approval of ordinance 0223, titled an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from Iredell County General Business to Town of Troutman Light Industrial. Is there a motion regarding the approval of this ordinance?
I will so make that motion, sir.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made, received a second. Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is a statement of consistency. I would ask that you read the complete statement. Is there a statement of consistency motion to be presented?
I can read that if you want to. Rezoning to light industrial is consistent with the 2035 future land use map and with the current land use pattern of the area. The request is consistent with the currently adopted Unified Development Ordinance. The request is reasonable and in the public interest as it proposes to allow commercial development in areas of Troutman where it is appropriate.
There's a motion on the floor regarding our statement of consistency. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received a second. Any question or comment? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is consideration for boards and committee reappointments. The first item is a ABC board, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Wyatt.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we discussed Monday at the agenda meeting, two persons, Wesley Edmiston and Kim Cavan, are currently on the board and would like to be reappointed. As you all heard from the earlier ABC report, that kind of speaks for itself. The one thing that I will also add that we did not discuss Monday, just for the public's knowledge and you all on the board, this board does have an ETJ member, which would be the current chairman, which is Leighton Getzinger. Both of these are in-town residents and would serve in that capacity, even though there was not a requirement set up that we have in-town or ETJ. Just wanted that out there for you all's knowledge.
Thank you. Any question for Mr. Wyatt regarding the two ABC board members? Okay, if not, I'll ask for a motion to approve Wes Edmiston and Kim Cavan reappointments.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor, that we reapprove Wesley Edmondson and Kim Cavan to a appointment for this.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to reappoint Wes Edmiston and Kim Cavan. Is this a 2-year term or 3-year term? For a 3-year term. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Next is the Design Review Board. Mr. Wyatt.
Mark Michelle has served in that capacity and is seeking reappointment. The DRB folks also work great with him. That's a position that he has held for a few years, and he's also volunteering with the town in another capacity. But we, as do DRB, recommend him for reappointment.
Okay. Any question, Ms. White, on Mark Michelle? Okay. He does know that his pay will remain the same.
I told him if he was good, it would remain the same.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve Mark Michelle for Design Review Board?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Mark Michelle for a 3-year term renewal on the Design Review Board.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next item is public comment. The public is invited to address the council with comments limited to 3 minutes per individual. Speakers are required to sign in at the podium and adhere to Policy 51, titled Policy Governing Comments from the Public at Town Meetings. At this time, I'll ask if there's anyone here who would like to address the council and make any comments or concerns. Okay. If not, we'll move on down our agenda. Next item are our comments from myself and council. We'll start to my left, Mr. Harris.
Okay, the only couple things I'd like to mention tonight is that, again, I want to thank the Rotary Club for the scoreboards. As a baseball coach for 16 years in Little League, a lot of years there was only just a couple I ever had scoreboards, and it makes a big difference. When you're keeping up with the game, people constantly trying to coach the game, want to know what's the score of the game, what'd you do that inning? It throws you off. The scoreboards are very valuable to the programs. I appreciate the Rotary Club doing that. The other is 2 of our police officers showed me what a special group we have in our police department here. And that I was at the Troutman Middle School last night, standing near Chief Watson and our SRO Wayne, and Wayne's last name just left me.
Elmore.
Elmore. But and I noticed that every time kids come by, they made a point to speak to both of them. And they were both in uniform. So it's like those kids look up to them, have a lot of respect. And I know from past histories of a lot of police departments, when I was in West Virginia's office, that goes a long ways to have that kind of respect in your police department with young kids. And I saw a lot of that last night. I thought it was very impressive.
Thank you. Ms. Harris.
Really quick, I would like to, first of all, say Happy New Year in this forum. And also I wanted to thank the Rotary Club. I have 2 baseball players in my home, so they may not play on those fields because they're a little older, but I'm still appreciative of the Rotary Club for that. I'm not going to steal anyone's thunder, but I'm looking forward to the MLK breakfast tomorrow morning at 8:30. Hopefully, many of you will join us on tomorrow. And any projects that we do tomorrow, we're looking forward to those projects. And there are other events going on this weekend as well. So I'm hoping that if you can't participate tomorrow, participate Saturday, Sunday, which is the actual birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. And also Monday, which is a day of service, a day on, not a day off. That's all.
Great. Mr. Now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just like to welcome everyone here tonight, and also Happy New Year to everyone. Looking forward to a healthy and prosperous year for council and the mayor this year. And also looking forward to people coming out and having breakfast tomorrow, and then our work event for the Martin Luther King Day celebration. And also our thoughts are with the South Iredale High School and the baseball team on their loss of their assistant coach.
Great, thank you. Ms. Archer.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, Ms. Harris said she wasn't going to steal anybody's thunder, then promptly stole it. So I'm going to talk for an hour and 20 minutes. So strap in. But,
You took the under, by the way.
I did take the under. True, true. No, but yeah, I'm very excited for this weekend's activities, especially tomorrow. Again, it was everything I was going to say was said, so I just want to touch on it. Yeah, tragic news for South, so prayers for all involved, and of course all the faculty, all the students, because that's a lot of lives being touched in a building like that. So definitely hits home. But that being said, again, looking forward to this weekend, looking forward to get started to a new year, and wish everybody the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hinkle?
As always, good comments, and all I can do is say, I support everything that's been said, and kudos, and to piggyback on what Jerry said, thoughts and prayers go to the assistant coach family and the South Arrow family, of athletes especially, in the baseball arena, for the loss of the volunteer assistant coach. And so sad and sorry to hear that. But as Lee said, looking forward to tomorrow. And hearing the good, what I've read about the gentleman, looking forward to that especially. So certainly plan to be there, unless the good Lord has other plans for me tonight. But, otherwise, I'll be there. But yeah, again, good comments, and thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I will probably comment on some of the things that have already been said. So, again, first of all, I was in Raleigh this week. Our legislature has started to get organized again and reconvene. I had a chance to speak with our Senator Sawyer, and I know this will be should be a short session, which could be a long session, but they're all the same pretty much. At least that's the way it's been lately. They're actually supposed to go through July for the long session, but they're hoping to get this completed, wrapped up in July. So hopefully it will. Again, good conversation with her about the town, and look forward to council being able to connect with our manager and maybe have some time to spend in Raleigh meeting with our representatives up there. I also saw Mr. Neely as well, and so I did have a chance to circle back around with both of them. So again, good conversations. I also want to mention, as was mentioned, Monday, National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Again, just ask the chief to send the appreciation from the council to all the officers, and we appreciate you as well. Just all you do, leading them and them making sure that we're all safe. So again, we appreciate that. I was tasked with submitting our legislative goals to the league. I have done that, and so again, appreciate the council giving me the confidence to click that button and make sure that our representatives know our priorities through the league. I look forward to tomorrow and comments from Dr. Griffith. He did a great job last year, and look forward to what we can do as a town as well in servicing our town on tomorrow as a day on, not a day off. So again, we appreciate all of our community volunteers and appreciation. So again, look forward to celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. King this weekend. With that, I will also, one other thing, I got a lot of phone calls, comments from folks regarding my son Tyler. Again, I appreciate all those comments as he is pursuing his soccer career. So again, I've had a few people in Raleigh mentioned to me that it was interesting to hear the announcements of that he's from Troutman, and you know, all these kids from all around the world and other states and so forth. But clearly, we've made it a point to ensure that people know he's from Troutman. So again, we appreciate those emails, calls, and comments. So thank you all for that. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Wyatt for manager and staff comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you all for the comments. I'll start with Emily on the end and just come back this way.
Of course, want to touch on, thank you. Of course, want to touch on tomorrow's event, Martin Luther King inviting the public. Martin Luther King breakfast and day of service, 8:30 a.m. We'll meet at Katz. And of course, we'll enjoy the speaker, and then we'll head out together. You're invited to all of it or part of it or whatever portion you can come.
I'm correcting her. If you're not working, you can't eat. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, there's that. Accepting vendor applications for our Spring Craft Expo on April 1st at South Iredell High School. Already have those rolling in, so that's already looking good. Sprint into Spring, registration's open as well, March 12th. Been working with a number of students from South on their senior projects. Right now we're a collection site for one student who's collecting items for my sister's house. So now through January 21st, if you have anything you'd like to contribute, just here at Town Hall. So that's through the 21st. And just on the maintenance side of things, not programming, we've been just doing some basic upkeep down in the park, painting the gates, park gates, which is just normal wear and tear and weathering, front and back gates, the pavilion columns, the bathroom doors, and getting caught up on some stuff these past couple weeks. And of course, we've been working on getting Christmas put up and organized. Parks and Rec and Public Works together have been trying to come up with a better storage system and what can make that more efficient for next year. So that's been something that takes us a few weeks to get all that down, believe it or not. So that's us. Duke Energy's been busy in the park getting our power lines trenched for the irrigation system and the concession stand one day and our ball fields. And they've been busy working on the Parks and Rec building over there. So, but programming cranking up for the spring and a lot of winter projects we've been trying to hustle and get done before sports start up. So, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, I know y'all been sitting on pins and needles since last month, and I'm glad to be able to provide you with your highlight of the month, the Public Works Report. So, January is, if you want to call it a slowdown, it's a slower month for us. So we make that our essential maintenance equipment and critical need equipment service month. Some of the items that are serviced during that month are all of our heavy equipment, pumps and pump motors, pump station cleaning is undertaken. Emergency generators are tested and serviced. These procedures help ensure that every effort is being made to provide the sustainability of our infrastructure systems, which is water and sewer. Some good news on the jetter. Eddie, got a VIN number, sent the color coordination in, which is white, so nothing exciting, but, you know, it's going to be nice.
And excuse me for interrupting, but how long has that been since we budgeted for that?
Since we budgeted, when was that, Doug? 2 years ago?
2 years ago for the first one that those manufacturers couldn't produce, but yes.
Yes, 2 years. Thank you.
Feels more like what Emily said in 7 years, but.
I got the bottle of champagne ready to.
Crack it on the hood.
Two at this point.
Yeah, so, yeah, we are ready to get it, so we're still looking for an end of January, 1st of February delivery date. So, seems to be that they are still on schedule as they promised a year ago. So, everything's looking good, so that's all I had. So, you have to wait till next month to hear me again, so.
I'm sorry to interrupt you one more time.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion for the report in the future?
Yes, sir.
The multicolored water report.
Multicolored water report.
Clear, brown, black.
I can do it.
Suggestion.
I can do it. I can probably provide a lot more information on the brown portion of it, but that's probably more entertaining than the other.
How's the smoke testing going?
It's going good. Going good. Of course, we got people that get some smoke in their house, and then you come to find out they haven't used that bathroom in 6 years, so their P-traps are dry. And
I've seen you guys out stopping and setting in areas and looking.
right, it's
Someone said, there's all kinds of smoke around. Then he got the message right behind I guess they started.
right. It's going good. Some of the areas are what we expected. Some of them are better off than we expected. So we'll see. But
So if we see smoke, that's good or bad?
if you see smoke that's not coming out of a manhole, that's bad.
Yeah.
If it's coming out of a manhole, that's expected. If it's coming out of the ground, that means there's a broken pipe, more than likely clay pipe. So, and there's a lot. We got a lot. So.
A few times I saw it, just traveling around town, it looked good, the parts I saw. I know you said some were maybe a little disappointing, but parts I saw looking very good coming out of the manhole.
You know, the worst areas since I've been here that most of it got replaced was in the Mill Village right-of-way sections, and that was 2-foot terracotta joints, and that was probably from the 30s. And most of that got replaced. The other stuff, we've got some older pipe in the ground, but it's not quite as bad as that was. So that's one thing, but we still have some infrastructure there that we can save some money on I&I for sure if we get it replaced. So that's what we're hoping anyway, right, Doug?
This is down the Mill Village you're talking about, or?
Most of that section's been replaced.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But there's
Okay.
still, well, they did the other day, they did in your area.
Right.
Patterson Street area, then they went over and did some on West Church Street.
Okay.
And I haven't heard back from them on that report yet, so I don't know how much they found. But, usually if there's something substantial, they'll call and let me know. If it's a big leak or something, they'll let
What
me know.
areas, no details, just what areas are you finding that are a little disappointing, that may need replacement in the next few years?
There was some on the Georgia Street right away that kind of surprised me. But that was about, I mean, really, it's been pretty good, honestly, overall. I've not had many big issues pop up that they're making me, now, they may send me a report and there's more on it, but like I say, the big issues they're kind of making me aware of, and I haven't been, just a couple sections, and that's really not, as an overall section, there's really nothing that stands out.
You say Georgia Street kind of surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, Thomas Street had some, at a section, they lined that pipe back probably 20 years ago. There was one area that it wasn't, and it popped up a little bit, but I say overall, and that's to be expected with that pipe. I mean, they're gonna have it with those joints that don't seal, so. Overall, we're better than, I'm at the point of better than I thought we were, so
Good.
I hope that stays that way.
I agree.
All right, good evening. For the human resource side, end of the year tends to be a bit busy for compliance, getting out our ACA reporting, OSHA reporting, make sure we're going to get our W-2s out here. I'm working with payroll. I know an email came out, but they'll be out there soon. So that's all been going through very well. I'm also coordinating with our IT for our server install and cybersecurity install. Being also beginning of the year, prepping for our open season coming up in April, May timeframe. So I'm looking at our current insurances, looking at other opportunities, and always looking, one of the things that I'm always looking at is trying to streamline any new processes, working across all the different departments to see whether it's technology or just, the way we even just do things internally. To help things, either looking at efficiencies in processes or cost, or hopefully both.
And thank you for your quick response on Tuesday if that false message came out on W-2 forms.
Trying to get
You
that
were
out
on the
there
job
for you
early.
quick.
Yeah. I just want to say, I'm glad we've got an in-house personnel department. That's something that was mentioned back in 2016, and since then by someone else. So I'm glad we've, kind of like the jetter, it took a few years, but we're getting there. Thank you.
All right, for finance, I'm not going to spend much time here, but
He thinks he's on vacation now that the audit's done.
yeah, that does sound good. But I just want to remind everybody, I am glad the audit's complete. But I want to remind all of our town residents about auto draft. We love when people sign up for auto draft for your water bill. And also, if you don't know, we have the online portal, MyGov Hub. So if you don't know how to use that, there's instructions on the town's website. Go there and check it out. But if not, if that doesn't make sense, just feel free to stop by or call, and we'll get you set up on that. You can get an email notification when your water bill is ready, because we've had some trouble. I'm not going to throw stones at the post office, but we've had trouble we're getting our billing side faster. We're getting it done faster than it's been done, especially since I've been here. But it seems like it's taking longer and longer for people to actually get their water bill. So if you get set up online, that may help with that. That way you can at least view it as soon as we get billing complete, which is usually done about the third week of the month. And then it takes several more weeks for people to actually get their physical bill. So the only other thing I have is, as the mayor said a few months back, in finance, boring is good, so we're trying to stay boring.
The new website is a major improvement, by the way. Major, so.
Good.
Well, as I say, I think I sound like a broken record too. Planning and zoning, we continue to be very busy. We're still reviewing lots of final plats and bond estimates. We have not really seen permitting slow down. I came into the first day of 2023 saying, this year we're not going to have many rezonings. I've already got two to bring before you guys, and we're only in the second week of January, so we don't really see things slowing down yet. We did finalize the land use map. I want to thank you all for that and everyone who worked so hard on it. We've gotten the ordinance updated. We put that new map on our website, and we've been implementing it. So that's exciting. We've also we're going to start working on the UDO. I mentioned that last year. Started working on that, making little progress on it. It's going to be a lengthy process, but I do hope to have something that I can bring to you all by the end of the year. So my planning nerd's coming out. I'm looking forward to doing that. So we're also working on updating. We have a landscape species list. We actually haven't had one for a while. We had one in our old ordinance that we give to people when they call us and say, hey, we're building a new development. What type of trees do you want us to use? What type of shrubs? Most jurisdictions have one of these. We had one in the past, but for whatever reason, it was left out of the UDO that we currently are using. So we currently have an employee, Shane, who has some expertise in landscaping. He has an associate's degree in landscape architecture, so he has started working on reviewing that list and putting a new one together for us. So that will be part of the new UDO, but we can also start using that as soon as he gets something put together. So excited about that. Also just preparing language. We have recently been approached by Tesla. They want to put some EV charging stations in town. They're looking at the convenience store, and I can't think of the name of it. It's the one on this side of exit 42, not Sheetz. Yes, where the Arby's is. Yeah, Exxon. Yeah, but unfortunately, we just don't have any language in our ordinance that allows that type of infrastructure. So I've been doing some research, and I'm working on putting some language together, and I'll be bringing that to you all in the next month or so, so we can adopt that, and Tesla can get those charging stations put in. So, but that's it.
I would only add to that request that they have that I think the state is looking at various grants and support for communities that add charging stations. So
okay.
Might be something that we can explore as well on two ends of that. So just an FYI.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, got a question.
Yes, sir.
Lynn, have we taken over our code enforcement, or are we still acting with the outside and our guy?
I don't know if you want to speak on that or if you want me to.
We do have full-time code enforcement, and he's acting on his own. However, as with a lot of other positions, there's still some training that's required. Our contract will expire the third week of February with the code enforcement that we have. So he is still here and is still assisting in training. And of course, we still have resources available if needed going forward.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Where is this office right now, Shane's?
In the planning house.
Planning house?
Yes, sir. He's under Lynn's supervision, so that all of the employees are there for that.
The police department, just to give you like a breakdown of what we did in December, we responded to 378 calls for service. We had completed 52 incident investigation reports, which means that they respond to a call where a crime was reported or something was worthy of the officers documented in a formal report. We investigated 31 motor vehicle crashes. Officers conducted 153 traffic stops and 460 neighborhood patrols, going through residential areas, checking them and talking to people. Currently, one thing we found that in 2022 was increasing is break-ins to homes that have been built but nobody's moved into, and people stealing appliances out of that, and also increase in theft of building supplies and tools. So our officers are working on trying to deter that through patrols and using some cameras and stuff we have through investigations to hopefully catch anybody that's doing that. And we also were contacted by Iredell Statesville School Superintendent, the bus drivers are reporting about an average of 40 incidents a day of vehicles passing stop school buses, and that's throughout the county.
What now?
40 incidents a day throughout the county of school buses being passed while they're stopped.
That would be either way, though,
Yeah.
right?
And so what we've done is we've talked to our bus drivers from Troutman Elementary, Troutman Middle, and South, and found out like where in the town of Troutman are you, have you seen this happen? And so officers are watching those areas and, to try and gain compliance through, pretty much that's a zero tolerance thing. If you get stopped for that, you are going to get cited. And it's a very expensive citation with a lot of points on your license. But we want to make sure that our children are able to get on and off the bus safe, so we're working with the school system on helping reduce that.
Could I ask you, could you just talk, you were talking about some of the new construction going around town, breaking in and the appliances before the people move in, and obviously the building materials in the construction phase. So there's been kind of a rash, I guess you would say, of theft of those items?
Yeah, and it was kind of throughout 2022. It was increasing just because as, we have more development going on, people, there's always, people without the best intentions that are going to take advantage of, you have a large stretch of homes where there's no residents yet. So we've seen appliances stolen, but luckily some of our officers, as they've increased patrol, we became aware of it. We have caught several people and charged them. So hopefully, we'll see a decrease in that during this year as some of our strategies will hopefully work.
I know it has been a national problem.
It is.
For some time, but was hoping maybe Troutman had somewhat been spared, but evidently
Which we did see last year a large drop in our motor vehicle thefts and the catalytic converter thefts going on in Troutman. Some other areas, agencies are still seeing, that continue to increase, but our officers being out doing much more effective patrol during the last year has helped deter that.
Didn't the state pass a law to help on the converters, catalytic converters?
Yes, it did.
People trying to resell them, steal them, resell them, and so forth.
Yes, they did, and they've enhanced some punishments on those things too.
Most of council had already expressed a couple of events I won't repeat. A couple things for public knowledge and also you all's information. There's one development in particular that just can't seem to get right with our normal policies and procedures as far as the way they're building and the way construction is going on. We are contracted, as you all know, through West Engineering Services, and they provide a person that goes and inspects a lot of these projects while they're going on to make sure that they're in compliance with our building standards, especially the infrastructure when you're talking about fresh water or brown water. And we have had several instances, numerous exchanges with one master developer in particular, and we started issuing extra fees associated with town staff having to go in because these communities, as they start building out, the communities the citizens there look for the town to fix issues and or problems. If it's a wastewater issue, the first phone call they make is to the developers then say, well, it's the town's not doing this, town's not doing that. And what we have found in this one development in particular is there's just a numerous list of things that they're not in compliance with. So we issued them their first bills directly from us for the extra work that's required because of them not building to proper standard. They have also been warned that their building permit and building is going to cease unless they get in compliance very soon. So just make you all aware, and those citizens that state or have the opinion we let them build it and don't care, that infrastructure is very important to us, and we have always paid attention to it. But most builders, it's just human things that some mistakes occur and they are corrected appropriately and quickly, but this particular one, it has not occurred, and we are issuing the extra fees that goes with it to try to get attention that way before we stop development altogether. The other thing I wanted to point out is kind of piggybacking on what you already said, Mayor. Been in constant conversations with our legislators and also through our lobbyists. I have scheduled, we are trying to confirm dates and times, but for the third week of January is when sessions will begin in earnest again, now that all the appointees have been in Raleigh. But I intend on being down somewhere in the 22nd, 23rd time frame so that we can start making our rounds and expressing what our needs are as a town. That's all I have, other than wear work clothes tomorrow.
If you want to eat.
That's what I was going to say. Wear them for breakfast.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, we are looking toward South Iredale graduate delivered another great speech, and there will be a few dignitaries that have already stated they would be there unless emergencies occur. So we look forward to those that can make that part of the day's events. And I appreciate and just wanted to say publicly the Culinary Arts Program at Iredale County Career Academy Training School for CATS is the ones that will be cooking and preparing the meals, and we are excited that they have allowed us to partner with them. We anticipate, I've never had anything there that was bad before, but we're anticipating a mighty fine breakfast and a great speech to go afterwards before the work begins.
Great, thank you. Appreciate all the work that you and the staff do to make tomorrow's success. So again, it will be a good day, and look forward to all of our citizen volunteers as well. So thank you for that. Any other questions for Mr. White and or the staff?
I almost forgot one thing Mayor Pro Tem shared with us. We got the Transportation and Land Use series from Bill Thunberg, former mayor in Mooresville, that's over Lake Norman Transportation. Be Wednesday, February 22nd. As we check in at 9 a.m. that morning, and expect that to be a good event. We also hope to get updates on what is going to be transpiring for our area. Traffic is a concern for everyone, and this is one of those stops that we make to get more educated and also to voice our concerns and needs as a community.
Great, thank you.
Where is it going to be held?
Charles Mack Citizen Center.
Okay.
Is there a public notice that needs to go out?
We will, if you all let me know that how many is coming. If it's going to be that number, we'll absolutely send that notice out.
Great, thank you.
And I'm sorry, I spoke with Bill today, and he said that he will be sending out to everyone registration forms. So he told me he would send them to me, and that maybe for the other names, we can
Okay.
all send them at one time.
Okay.
One question, in your report, did I hear you say that you and the mayor may be kind of walking around the halls of Legislative Building on the 22nd or 23rd?
I did not commit the mayor to that. I will be down there depending on his schedule. As we had discussed, our intention during this long session is to go regularly to Raleigh to meet and greet with several people and explain our projects. And as those dates get established, I will certainly share with you all. We can take up to 2, of course, at a time. And all of council is welcome to go, whether we go in the morning and come back in the same day, or we leave at noon, have an evening meeting and then come back the next morning due to their schedules. And our local representatives are all excited that we are actually coming to their turf, so to speak, so that they can introduce us to others to hopefully get more funding.
I think the leagues, aren't they having some sort of a dinner or something where you can tear some of the legislators
They're
meet and greet?
Legislative reception also.
Yes.
And I don't have that date in front of me, but yeah, they are.
They are, and I also don't have that date, I'm sorry.
I probably will speak with Mr. Watt about the 23rd. I may already be up there for a couple other events. So as we've talked about, whenever he's there and I'm there, we're going to piggyback and again welcome you all to, help represent the town as much as we can. So it'll be important in this session. So.
I would love to go once or twice, whatever. I mean, it's, whenever, but with you two gentlemen there working the whole, so I feel good.
Good. All right. Any other question or comment for staff? Okay. Not.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? You're welcome to stay.